everyone, welcome back. Get ready because today we're diving into the world of big cats.
Lions, leopards, and cheetahs. Oh my.
You got it. I'm so excited to really get into these incredible animals.
Me too. You know, they really capture the imagination. Such power, grace, and, just a real sense of wildness.
Absolutely. And it's not just about their, star power, right? They play such a crucial role in their ecosystems.
Totally. A delicate balance for sure.
Okay, so let's start with lions. The king of the jungle.
About that. Not quite the jungle.
Wait, what? I've always pictured them in, lush jungles.
It's a common misconception. Their true home is the savannah.
The savannah? Really? Huh? Okay. Why the jungle image then?
Maybe it's the mystique. Early depictions in art and literature, they often put lions in these kind of exotic settings.
Right, like a powerful king in a wild kingdom.
Exactly, but in reality, it's the wide open savanna, those golden grasslands. Their coats blend in perfectly.
So savanna it is. And speaking of kings, lions are famous for their prides, right? Those social structures.
Yes. Prides are fascinating. Think mini societies ruled by females.
Oh, wow. So it's a matriarchal system.
It is. The lionesses, they're the heart of the pride. They do the hunting, raise the cubs. Real teamwork.
Like when they take down those zebras?
Exactly. Coordinated attacks, incredible strategies. It's survival.
Makes sense. But what about the males then? Those magnificent manes.
The males, they have a role too, of course. They're protectors. Defend the territory from rivals, keep the cubs safe.
And the mane, it's not just for show, is it?
Nope. A thick, dark mane, it signals strength. Attractive to females, intimidating to rivals.
It's like a lion status symbol.
You could say that. Survival of the fittest. The mane shows who's at the top.
I see. But what about the cubs? It must be tough growing up in the savannah.
It is tough. Predation is a constant threat. Hyenas, leopards, even other lions.
Oh, wow. That's intense. So less than half survive.
Yeah, it's a harsh reality. But despite all that, lions are apex predators.
Right. Top of the food chain. Essential for a balanced ecosystem.
Exactly. They keep herbivore populations in check, prevent overgrazing. Without them, the savanna could, things would spiral.
So they're crucial, but they're facing their own challenges, right?
Sadly, yes. Habitat loss, poaching, human-wildlife conflict.
It's heartbreaking to hear that.
No.
But people are working to protect them, right?
Absolutely. There are dedicated individuals and organizations doing amazing work.
What kind of work?
Well, they're establishing protected areas, creating wildlife corridors to connect habitats, working with local communities.
It sounds like a complex effort.
It is, but it's absolutely crucial. Lions are a vital part of the savannah.
All right, let's move on to another incredible cat, the leopard. I've always been amazed by their camouflage.
Oh, those spots. Nature's invisibility cloak.
Seriously, they blend into anything. Forests, rocks, even grasslands.
They're masters of disguise. Versatile and adaptable.
So unlike lions, they're comfortable in many different landscapes.
Exactly. They're built for it. Strong, agile, amazing climbers.
Wait, they climb trees?
Oh, yeah. They often haul their prey up into the branches.
No way. To keep it away from scavengers.
You got it. Hyenas and the like. Smart, huh?
That's incredible. So how is their hunting style different from lions?
Well, lions rely on teamwork. Brute strength. Leopards, they're solo artists. Stealth, ambush tactics.
Like ninjas?
Haha, yeah, kind of. And they're not picky eaters either.
Right. Opportunistic hunters, they eat whatever's available.
Pretty much. Antelope, monkeys, birds, reptiles, even fish. Their adaptability is a real asset.
But even with all that, they're still facing threats.
Sadly, yes. Habitat loss is a major one. Just like with lions, it forces them into closer contact with humans.
Leading to conflict, right? Especially when they prey on livestock.
Exactly. And then there's poaching. Their coats are highly sought after.
So sad. What are we doing to protect them?
A lot of the same things as with lions. Protecting and restoring habitat is key.
Makes sense. And working with local communities.
Absolutely. Engaging communities is crucial. Ecotourism can provide economic benefits, change attitudes.
I see. So it's a multifaceted approach again. We're not just protecting animals, but the whole ecosystem.
You got it. It's all connected. Okay, are you ready to talk about the speed demon of the savannah?
Oh, you mean the cheetah? Absolutely. The fastest land animal on Earth.
That's right, a marvel of evolution, built for speed. It's incredible.
I can only imagine seeing one in full flight. What's the secret to their speed?
It's all in their design. Their body is slender, lightweight, aerodynamic.
Streamlined, like a race car.
Exactly. Long legs, flexible spine, that small head, and their tail. It's like a rudder for balance and quick turns.
Wow, it's like they're sculpted for speed.
They are, but those bursts of speed, they come at a cost.
What do you mean?
They can only maintain that pace for a short time. Sprints, not marathons.
So after a chase, they need to recover.
Exactly. It's a trade-off for that incredible speed.
I see. So how do cheetahs hunt differently from lions and leopards?
Well, unlike lions and leopards who are mostly nocturnal, cheetahs hunt during the day.
During the day.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why?
It helps them avoid competition, and dangerous encounters with bigger predators.
Smart. So they rely on their vision.
They do. Incredible vision. They can spot prey from far away. Then they use a combination of stealth and speed.
It sounds like a winning strategy.
Uh,
But sadly, it's not enough to protect them from all the threats they face.
You're right. Their conservation status is pretty dire. They're considered vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Why is that?
Well, habitat loss is a huge factor,
Huh.
and fragmentation.
Habitat loss again. It seems to be a recurring theme.
It is a major threat to wildlife globally. Cheetahs, they need vast open areas to hunt properly.
So as their habitat shrinks, they come into closer contact with humans.
Exactly, and that leads to conflict. Plus, there's the illegal wildlife trade, the pet trade.
It all sounds so bleak. What can we do? What is being done to help?
Well, there are lots of efforts underway. Establishing and expanding protected areas is important.
Creating those safe havens
Yes, and building wildlife corridors to connect those areas.
to allow them to move freely.
Right. Then there's working with local communities, addressing human-wildlife conflict.
Like finding ways to protect livestock so
Yeah.
people don't retaliate against cheetahs.
Exactly. And we need to tackle the illegal wildlife trade head-on. Strengthen law enforcement, reduce demand.
It sounds like a massive undertaking.
It is. It's a global issue requiring a global response.
A collaborative effort from everyone. It's a reminder that their fate is really in our hands.
It truly is. And, protecting cheetahs, it's not just about saving one species.
What do you mean?
Cheetahs are a vital part of the ecosystem. Their presence as apex predators helps keep everything in balance.
Right. If we lose them, the whole ecosystem suffers.
Exactly. And a healthy ecosystem benefits everyone, humans included.
It's all connected. What a powerful message.
It is. We need to understand that protecting nature is protecting ourselves.
Well said. This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It really has.
We've covered so much ground already. Lions, leopards, cheetahs, the threats they face, the efforts to protect them.
And we're not done yet.
That's right. This is a good place to take a little break. But don't go anywhere, because in part 2, we'll dive even deeper into the world of big cat conservation.
We'll explore those fascinating strategies being used to protect these amazing animals.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
See you soon. We're back, ready for more big cat adventures.
Absolutely. I'm eager to hear more about those conservation efforts you mentioned.
Well, let's talk about protected areas first.
Protected areas.
Yeah, national parks, reserves, sanctuaries. Places where big cats can thrive without too much human interference.
Oh, I see. Like safe havens, where they can hunt and breed in peace.
Exactly, away from those threats they face in human-dominated landscapes.
That makes a lot of sense. Can you give me some examples?
Of course. Think of the Serengeti.
The Serengeti in Tanzania.
That's the one. Vast wilderness, endless plains teeming with wildlife.
Including lots of lions, right?
Tons. Big prides roaming those plains. It's truly a spectacle of nature. And then there's Kruger National Park,
Kruger. Where's that?
South Africa. It's a biodiversity hotspot. All 3 big cats we've talked about live there,
Wow, really? Lions, leopards, and cheetahs all in one place.
plus a whole bunch of other amazing creatures. And we can't forget about India's Gir Forest.
Gir Forest, isn't that where those Asiatic lions live?
It is the last refuge for those endangered lions. A real testament to dedicated conservation efforts.
It's incredible how these protected areas provide a glimmer of hope,
They do, but it's not as simple as just, drawing lines on a map.
Right, I imagine it's more complicated than that. Big cats need space, right?
Lots of space. Especially lions and cheetahs, they don't always stay within park boundaries.
So how do we address that? How do we give them the space they need?
That's where wildlife corridors come in.
Wildlife corridors, what are those?
Think of them as protected strips of land connecting fragmented habitats.
Like bridges between islands of wilderness.
Exactly. Allowing big cats to move safely between protected areas, expand their territories, find mates, all without encountering humans.
Oh, I see. So they can access resources and maintain genetic diversity.
Precisely. It's about creating a network of connected habitats, not just isolated pockets. But it's not just about physical spaces.
Right. What else is important?
People, the communities living alongside these animals. Fostering coexistence is crucial.
Coexistence. You mean finding ways for humans and big cats to live together peacefully?
Exactly. We need to engage local communities, educate them about the importance of big cats, and find ways to mitigate conflict.
So finding that balance is key, right? Where people and big cats can share the landscape.
It is, and one way to do that is through ecotourism.
Ecotourism. How does that help?
Well, when local communities benefit economically from the presence of big cats,
Like through tourism, you mean?
yeah, they're more likely to support their conservation. It creates a win-win situation.
Right. So tourism can actually be a force for good.
Absolutely. It provides jobs, income, and a reason to protect these animals. Plus, it raises awareness.
I see. People learn more about big cats, maybe develop a sense of stewardship.
Exactly. But we also need to be realistic. Conflict sometimes happens.
Like when big cats prey on livestock, right?
Yeah.
That must be a tough situation.
It is, especially when people depend on those animals for their livelihoods. It's complex.
So how do we address that? How do we protect both livestock and the big cats?
Well, some conservation organizations are working with communities to set up things like livestock insurance programs.
So if a farmer loses an animal to a predator, they get compensated.
Exactly. Or they might help them build predator-proof enclosures for their livestock.
Oh, that's clever. So it's about reducing the economic impact and preventing retaliatory killings.
Exactly. Sharing the burden, promoting understanding, it helps foster a sense of shared responsibility.
It sounds like a multi-layered approach, tackling the issue from different angles.
It is. We're always adapting, learning, seeking new solutions. It's all about making sure big cats have a future.
It's really inspiring to hear about all these different strategies, you know.
It is encouraging. And it's not just about saving individual species.
All right, you mentioned that earlier. What did you mean by that?
It's about protecting entire ecosystems. Big cats are apex predators.
Right, at the top of the food chain.
Exactly. So their presence or absence affects everything else.
So their conservation is about more than just, pretty animals. It's about maintaining the balance of nature.
Precisely. They regulate prey populations, which in turn protects plants, soil health, everything's connected.
Wow, it really highlights how important a holistic approach is.
It does. But now maybe we should shift gears a bit. Let's look closer at the specific challenges for each big cat and the specific conservation efforts in place.
Yeah, let's dive back into those details.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so back to those specifics. We've got a lot more to unpack about these incredible big cats.
Yeah, we've only just scratched the surface. Let's start with the lion, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
What else should we know about lion conservation?
Well, we touched on habitat loss and poaching earlier, but human-wildlife conflict is a big one too.
Yeah, that makes sense. As human populations grow, those encounters between lions and, people and their livestock are going to increase.
Exactly. And that leads to conflict, often with tragic outcomes.
Right, like retaliatory killings by farmers trying to protect their animals.
It's a tough situation. Those farmers are just trying to make a living.
Absolutely. It's understandable, but obviously we need to find better solutions.
We do. And thankfully, there are organizations out there working on just that.
What kind of things are they doing?
Well, a lot of it involves working directly with those local communities.
Makes sense. Get everyone on board.
Right. So they might help farmers build predator-proof enclosures for their livestock or set up early warning systems to alert them when lions are nearby.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's about preventing those encounters in the first place.
Exactly. And there are also community-based conflict resolution programs.
Like mediating between people who've had negative encounters with lions.
It's about finding ways to coexist peacefully, It's not always easy, but it's crucial.
So it's a combination of practical solutions and changing attitudes.
You got it. Education is a big part of it, too. The more people understand about lions, the less they'll fear them.
Makes sense. Knowledge is power, right?
It really is. All right, let's move on to leopards. What about their conservation challenges?
Well, I imagine habitat loss is a big one for them too, right? Just like with lions.
It is, and fragmentation is a big issue as well.
Fragmentation. What does that mean exactly?
It means that their habitat is being broken up into smaller and smaller pieces.
Oh, I see. So instead of one large forest, you have little patches here and there.
Exactly. And that makes it harder for leopards to move around, find mates, access resources.
They become isolated, more vulnerable.
Exactly. And sometimes those fragments of habitat are closer to human settlements.
Which leads to more conflict, right?
You got it. Leopards are adaptable, but even they have limits.
And people often react out of fear, unfortunately.
They do, and that's why, again, education and community engagement are so important.
So it's about teaching people how to live alongside leopards safely.
Exactly. And dispelling myths, you know. Leopards generally try to avoid humans.
But if they're hungry,
Yeah.
there are livestock nearby,
Well, then things can get complicated. But there are ways to minimize the risks.
like the predator-proof enclosures we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And encouraging better herding practices, things like that.
It's all about finding those practical solutions, right?
It is. But we can't forget about poaching either. Leopards are still targeted for their beautiful coats.
It's so sad. It's hard to believe that people still do that.
It is disheartening. But we can't give up. We need to keep fighting for them.
So how do we combat poaching?
Well, it's multifaceted. We need stronger law enforcement, obviously. But we also need to reduce demand.
Like educating people about the cruelty involved in the wildlife trade.
Exactly. And providing alternative livelihoods for those who might be tempted to poach.
It's about tackling the problem from all angles, right?
It is. All right. Are you ready to move on to cheetahs?
Oh, definitely. Their situation is particularly concerning, right?
Yep.
They're facing some serious threats.
They are. But the good news is there's a lot of work being done to help them.
Oh, that's good to hear. What kind of work?
Well, habitat protection and restoration is a major focus.
So making sure they have enough space to roam and hunt?
Exactly. And it's not just about quantity, but quality as well. The habitat needs to support their needs.
Right. It needs to be suitable for them to thrive.
Exactly. And we also need to connect those habitats, you know,
Yeah.
create those wildlife corridors we talked about.
So they can move between protected areas safely.
Exactly. It's all about creating a network of connected landscapes where they can flourish.
It makes so much sense. What else are people doing to help cheetahs?
Well, addressing human-wildlife conflict is crucial.
Right, because farmers might see them as a threat to their livestock.
Exactly. So conservationists are working with communities to implement non-lethal methods of predator control.
Non-lethal, what does that mean?
It means finding ways to protect livestock without harming the cheetahs.
Oh, I see. So things like those livestock guarding dogs we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And improving herding practices, using deterrents.
It's about finding ways for humans and cheetahs to coexist peacefully, right?
It is. And of course, we can't forget about the illegal wildlife trade. Cheetahs are still being poached, sadly.
It's heartbreaking to hear that. But we're fighting back, right?
We are. Strengthening law enforcement is crucial, as is reducing demand for cheetah parts.
And disrupting those trafficking networks. you know?
Exactly. It's a global problem, requiring a global effort.
It's a reminder that the fate of these animals is really in our hands, isn't it?
It is. And you know, protecting cheetahs, it goes beyond just saving a species.
What do you mean?
They play a vital role in the ecosystem. As apex predators, they help maintain balance.
Right, like keeping prey populations in check, preventing overgrazing.
Exactly. A healthy savanna benefits everyone, including humans.
So it's really in our best interest to protect them, right?
It is. Their survival is linked to our own. We need to understand that.
It's a powerful message, and one that we need to keep spreading.
I agree. We all have a role to play in protecting these amazing creatures.
Well, this has been an incredible journey. We've learned so much about lions, leopards, and cheetahs, their adaptations, their challenges, the efforts to conserve them.
It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
It really has. And it's left me feeling hopeful, knowing that so many people are dedicated to protecting these magnificent animals.
Me too. There's a lot of work to be done, but we're making progress.
And that's what matters. So for all our listeners out there, I encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep supporting those who are fighting for the future of big cats. We can all make a difference. Until next time, stay curious and keep those paws on the ground.
And remember, every roar counts.